Sure.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BXR Podcast. We're back. I think it's like the third week in a row because we did the watch party last week. So this is the most active the podcast has ever been, and probably ever will be. So you'll never see this type of activity again. We got BK today. Pop Q's back from his well, he actually just mixed up days last time, so he's back from mixing up days, and then Chipmunk is joining us today. So we're gonna talk about all sorts of stuff, the Game Awards, the Twitch news, and probably just whatever we've been playing. I've been playing a great World War II extraction shooter. Honestly, probably should win Game of the Year, but it came out a little late. So maybe next year, like if people remember it. But it's a great game. I think it topped out about 100 players. So, and I was the biggest streamer in the category all night. So that doesn't tell you it's
You're
great.
the only streamer.
Yeah, hell yeah, I was, and I had drops.
And I got all three.
well, okay. What were they?
Extraction shooter with no extract.
I
extracted.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I can check.
A Chris knife.
All right.
A death count backpack.
All right.
And the brave bear charm.
Oh, hell yeah. No, those are some Twitch drops. Now, I will say, I think it's cool that random-ass indie games have Twitch drops now. Because I feel like in the past, it was only, like, with big games. But now it seems like any fucking shit that comes out has Twitch drops, which is, like, pretty nifty.
Launched with Val, didn't it?
Yeah, that was, like, the big one that had it. Because that was... those were fucking annoying, though. I don't mind Twitch drops when it's like random cosmetics, but if I have to watch a streamer to get access to play a video game, that's annoying.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So, and everyone wanted to play Val because it was like the giant new fucking FPS by Riot, and so everyone is just funneled into these streamers, and like all of them had insane view counts for like 2 or 3 days because we're all just there, literally pumping all their viewership, and like props to them.
It was better than CS2's bullshit
That's
launch.
true. At least you could get into Valorant. So
it took me forever to get that drop for Valorant. I was sitting in streams nonstop, and I just couldn't get it. It took me forever.
It took me a day. I remember I think Semper got it first, and he was just like, "Hey guys, look what I'm in, motherfucker! Want to play that game?"
Yeah, I remember playing with Luke, so he must have got in like around the same time as me. But I remember like when I played the beta, it got kind of boring after a little bit because it was literally just unrated. So it was like, how much sweaty unrated do you want to play? And there was only so much of that I could take. But yeah, all right. Well, that's enough. Do you remember when Hyperscape tried to do the same thing and then the game just died within like 2 weeks?
Oh god, wasn't that was the Ubisoft game, right?
Yeah, it's the Ubisoft Battle Royale that had like a ton of verticality. It kind of felt like you were playing Quake, but like the time to kill was 10 years long. So the mobility and verticality was insane, but the time to kill was also way like, or not even like Halo TTK. It's like Halo times 2.5 TTK.
Oh.
But like you could literally like scale a whole building in 2 seconds. So you're just chasing people across like a cityscape. It was the most frustrating game I've ever played. And surprisingly, it died. I was shocked.
I looked it up, and Jack Frags made 4 videos about how much he loves it, and 2 of them have ad in the left bottom corner.
Oh, well, that's why it died. He didn't make enough.
Yeah, if you would have...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I saw Pengu today talk about it, and I saw some people disagreeing. I guess I read it wrong. Basically, he was attributing it to Hyperscape a little bit. He's like, for the finals, and he was like, dude, I just think this is going to be really cool, but like, I just hope they have a roadmap because I don't want it to be a Hyperscape 2. And I'm like, I don't really think they're at all the same. At all. But like, the finals already was coming out pretty well. So...
They give me the same gameplay vibes. Like I could see where you would like draw similarities, but they are different games. And also I think the finals is doing much better because like Hyperscape so like they rolled out their streamer weekend, which was technically like the open beta. And then like by the end of the open beta, like the fucking people had like already gotten bored. And then the game full released like a week later, and it was like already hard to get full lobbies. So like it was they also tried to do like giant BR lobbies, and they just didn't have the player base. So like you would end up in a lobby that's like half of the amount of players that were supposed to be there. But if I remember correctly too, I don't think Hyperscape was on Steam, was it? Wasn't it just on like Uplay or whatever?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that doesn't help any game.
Yeah.
Because if they
Great
would
way
have,
to kill a game.
yeah, if they would have thrown it on Steam, it was free to play, so I bet it would have done better. But I don't know. That's like
Yeah,
the
launcher sucks.
yeah the Avatar game. Like, dude, I like forget that shit even came out. Like,
I was gonna buy it. I
Mm.
saw that it was on there, and then I was like, I don't want to put more bloat on my computer. Sorry, you play.
literally, like when games launch, I understand it's bad to have a monopoly or whatever, but when a PC game launches and it's not on Steam, I just don't play it unless it's free. And if
Yeah.
it's free, it better be Fortnite, because that's the only way I'm gonna play it on a different launcher.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just never play the game. Because like Alan Wake 2, I probably would have tried it if it was on Steam. Never played it, probably won't until maybe later on. But then by the time it comes to Steam with like those single player games, I've already kind of like lost my desire or like my care to play them. Whereas like multiplayer games, by the time they get to Steam, usually they have just straight up died. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I get it. You want Steam to have competition, but it's like, I feel like developers just shoot themselves in the foot when they try to not launch because they don't want to pay the percentage to Valve. Like, I have to imagine paying Valve 20% or whatever is better than just having a game that just doesn't sell. Because like, I don't know if you saw the thing I shared in the group chat earlier. Alan Wake 2 on the Epic Game Store is already 50% off. That game won like a ton of awards. So clearly it's not selling well if it's 50% off already.
And you get the first game with it for free.
Jesus. Okay.
I have a free code for that game, and I still can't be bothered.
Lol.
Yeah, and
It has to be on Steam.
it looks like a decent game, but yeah, it should have just been on Steam. I bet like that's like the type of game too, where if it's on Steam, you would have seen like all the hype. Like, look at how many players this single player franchise that has been sleeping for X amount of years got. I mean, I know it's published by Epic Games, but like, all right, that one's more excusable. All right, Jared. All right, I'll give you that one. But still, fuck Epic Games. Okay, unless it's Fortnite or Fortnite Racing or Fortnite Lego Story or Fortnite fucking Guitar Hero. Okay, it shouldn't be on the Epic Games Store. Those are the only acceptable games that go on the Epic Games Store. If they have to say Fortnite, if it was Fortnite Alan Wake, fair play.
Oh my god.
Well, wasn't Alan Wake made? Oh no, they use their own engine, but I think a lot of games go on the Epic Store specifically because they're like, all right, it's going to be stuck on there for a year, but I don't think you have to pay for the Unreal percentage after the year runs out. So you
Ooh.
make your game in Unreal 5, you put it on Epic for a year, it doesn't sell anything, and then you can put it on Steam and make more money because that way, otherwise your revenue is split between Epic and Steam.
Stonks.
Yeah. That's I think that was why a lot of companies went to Epic. If you put in like Unreal share split, they usually take like 30%. Well, they used to, and I think now they take 12 if you launch it on.
They take a really small amount, but like, I get that you could like release it on Steam later and still get the Steam dollars, but I have to imagine that those games sell much less on Steam when they release a year or two after they came out. Like the hype and like the media like wave for those games is gone.
For a big game, yeah, I was thinking like indie developers like AA, like Metro. I think Metro Exodus was really smart, but I don't know if that game used Unreal. I think they had an
Probably.
exclusivity thing. They said they did it for a ton of money, and they're like, just wait a year, it'll come to Steam. It's a single player game. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair, I guess, but I don't know. I just don't play it. You know, if it's not on Steam, so.
I think like the bummer part about any game not releasing on Steam though is the only real problem with any of them is that the client launcher just sucks. Like if they put any effort into any of them,
Yeah.
I'm sure people would flock to them. Like the only reason I use the Epic Game Launcher is for those free games that come out every like what 2 weeks, and then like
there's about to be 17
maybe
more of
something.
them.
Oh my
They're gonna
god!
have the free game a day until January.
Oh, for Christmas and shit.
Yeah.
It's like I can't be bothered because I guarantee you, out of all of the ones that I've gotten for free, I maybe have played one, and it wasn't long. And I think it was Death Stranding, and I turned it on, and I was like, this is exactly what I thought it was. This sucks, and I turned it off, and I uninstalled it. Because why the fuck am I going to do that?
Yeah, I looked at
It
my
just, I don't
Epic
know.
Games Store or my Epic Games launcher recently because I was playing Fortnite and I was like, "Holy shit, I have a lot of games on here." So I probably didn't purchase most of those.
I don't
Yeah, and that's
even redeem the free games anymore because I realized it was more effort than it was worth. Because I used to redeem them and I never played them, and I just stopped redeeming them because I know I'm never gonna play them. So why bother?
That's
yeah,
gotta
you
be a
got a point.
crazy statistic of people have free games and they still don't even want to go on your launcher. Like, if I'm Epic, I'm like, well, we got Fortnite, and then that's it, huh?
I would legitimately rather pay like $10 or $15 for a Steam game that's on a deep sale than play it for free on the Epic launcher.
Oh yeah, I did that recently. I have Metro Exodus for free on the Epic Game Store, and I bought it yesterday because it was $2. So I'd
Exactly.
much rather pay the $2 for the convenience.
God damn, $2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
by the way,
That's
buy
crazy.
Metro Exodus. That game is amazing. Top 10 game ever.
I should
Wow.
play that one. I've played all the other ones and I never played Exodus.
Oh, Exodus is so much better than the other two. Like it actually, I think their team like doubled in size, so they were able to
Was
do a lot more.
is Exodus the most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's like
Hmm.
mostly outdoors.
The game looks it always looked interesting to me. I never tried them out though. That's
The
just
first
I'll
two
just
are
add
kind of the
that
same thing
game
as
to
games.
my backlog of
Yeah,
games I'm never gonna play.
I was gonna say your backlog just grows every day. Like you just stumble into some other big game that you never played.
I think it's about 12
Wow.
hours. I think if you know life to 1 day sitting, you can just kind of plow through it.
Hmm.
Because it's also open world, so I think it took me like 30 hours to beat, but you definitely could beat
That
it
game's
in
open
30.
world?
Yeah,
Like
well,
actual
they're
open world?
like
It's like Hub World.
each level, yeah, hub world. They're like
Hmm.
really big levels. I think each level has like 3 or 4 missions inside of it. And you can do it in any order, really.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So I
Yeah,
will
it's
say, and I'm probably just a hater, but like the first two games I feel like are they're like the hipstery video games that like all the video game kids love. Like I don't they're like the random like indie film that everyone says is amazing.
yeah,
I think they're okay. I think the atmosphere and the like the world is super cool. The gameplay, especially in the first one, is dog shit. Like the shooting
yeah.
is terrible.
That's why I liked the third one because it
Yeah.
was the same atmosphere, and you get like this pneumatic air rifle, and once you upgrade that thing because it's open world, it's like. Do you remember like in Far Cry when you were actually enjoying the silent sniper clearing the outpost shit? It it, like, brings you back because it makes that shit interesting again because there's monsters, outposts, and you're killing people with BBs. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. All right. Well, why don't we talk about we won't talk about it too long, but the good old Game Awards that happened last week. So, I think most of us watched it, but yeah, what'd you guys think about about the show?
Man, I think that people who were upset that Spider-Man didn't win need to just fucking grow up. I'm so tired
Or
of hearing
play
about
the
that shit.
game. Or play the
Like,
other games, honestly.
play anything other than Spider-Man. Like,
They're
literally
lucky
anything. You could
lucky that
throw a
was even
dart
a
black.
nominee.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
was it bad? No, but like let's not pretend that there wasn't other good games. Like it's not game of the year. It didn't win because it wasn't as good as the other shit,
Not
and
even
that
close.
sucks. But that's reality. So tired
I
of people just being like, "Oh,
I'm
it should have
so
won because Spider-Man's amazing." It's like, grow up.
I'm so glad Jeff Keighley got rightfully roasted for how that whole show went. The fact that we were on this podcast sitting here for like 3 hours and I think most of us like wanted to blow our brains out and then it's like, oh wait, 2 minute trailer. This is enjoyable. And then like they'd be like, best esports, best coach, blah blah blah, and then back to the trailers.
That was ridiculous.
Hmm.
And like
Rightfully
at an
roasted.
award show that they run through awards, like what the fuck?
I feel like
Yeah.
he just wants to run like the equivalent of an E3, but it's guised as a game award show because that's like what he started back when E3 still existed.
Yeah.
People
Because
keep forgetting he does run an E3. It's called the Summer Game Festival, and it takes place in the same venue in the summer during the same week, and it's by him.
well, he
And
must want to
everyone
run
loves
two of
him.
them because he fucking turned this one into 2.0. Like that makes it even
know.
worse. If he already runs that one, why? I know, like for a long time, people are like, "Oh, well, like you need the ads to pay for it," and that's why you used to have like. Do you remember that one year there was like the fucking mascot of like I think it was anti-tobacco or something, or no, it was the shaving guy. Do you remember the shaving guy, the Gillette fucking dude that just came in a full-on
what the
Gillette
fuck?
razor? Oh,
What are you talking about?
dude, it was
Yeah,
what.
no, it was so sick. He was like a big transformer. He was like a big Gillette razor. It was so cool.
That was goated
don't remember
marketing.
that.
I will actually give them that. It's basically just a dude showed up in a giant Gillette razor suit, and he just walked around as part of the marketing.
Jeff
What
was
the
eating
fuck
that shit
is
up.
this?
It's good. Let me see if I can find it. What's it called
got
when you
you.
looked it up?
Here, I'm just gonna send you a link to the search results. The first one that came up was Hideo Kojima, which and we'll get to
Hell
that
yeah,
later.
that's him, baby. The hydro shtick.
Like, what the fuck is that?
All right,
Looks like a
chat.
transformer.
This is him. This is from the 2016 Game Awards. If you
That's
didn't see it.
wild.
And it's fucking amazing. Now this is the type of marketing I will allow in my Game Awards. Okay, if you show up as the shtick hydro, it's not Gillette. I'm sorry, but if you show up, if
They
you
paid all that money just for you to mislabel their competitor.
Well, that's why he didn't return. It wasn't effective.
that is actually very true. That's so sad. I just remember a razor, and I just automatically associate it as Gillette. Dude, that's actually even worse.
Isn't it? I thought Shtick only did women razors. Maybe that's why they were trying to be like, dude, look, we're big Transformers, buff robot. We don't just do women.
We do razors for everyone. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Hell of a
like
catchphrase.
in the past, people used to be like, well, you need the ads to make it run. But it's like, at this point, the ads take up the whole fucking show. So like, what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
the awards are such a side piece of it that they might as well not be a part of the show. It's like you spend all this time watching either straight up like ads or the trailer placements that companies are paying for, or the developers talking about their new games that aren't out yet. Like when Hideo Kojima came out and talked about OD, whatever the fuck that is. But like, instead, and then you have the actual game awards where most of the awards are just like they just bullet point through them. They don't even let the devs talk. And then the ones that they get speeches, they get cut like they're super short. I don't know. It's a weird show.
Yeah, I mean, I will
wonder-
say though, like how they, they ran through a couple of the award winners real quick. I personally didn't really mind that. I mean, yes, I understand you should, I understand people want to give them more time, give them, bring them up on stage, give a speech and all that. I understand that, but just as somebody watching the show, just curious who wins the awards, I didn't mind them running through them real quick like that. I knew that was a big point of criticism by a lot of people, but for me, it didn't really bother me.
I think it was the fact that they skipped through like big categories, like best action adventure. When
Sure.
Armored Core finally got its first award, they just blew by it.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely understand the argument. They should have given that stuff more time. I'm just saying, me personally, somebody who was just curious who the winner was, I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah.
But I was like I said before I watched before you started the pod, like I didn't watch it live, so I could skim through the pod, skip over the stuff I didn't care about. And as I was getting really close to the end of the VOD, and I'm like, wait a minute, they have not announced Game of the Year yet. Like there was like a couple minutes left. I'm like, how late are they gonna do this? And it was at the very end, they come up on stage, short speech, and that was it. That did kind of surprise me. But
They
yeah.
told them to wrap it up too, buddy. It was like, people on the team died, and there's a big wrap it up
Right.
screen that he was staring at.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good look. But I mean, I don't know if that was like as malicious as some people are making it out to be. They could have done that for everyone. They run the timer and then they put up the wrap it up screen. They might have let him go on longer, That just might have been a standard thing they were doing for everyone.
I saw a Twitter post that replied because Jeff Keighley actually said that it was like a timer thing, but someone posted a picture of behind on the laptop. They were sitting behind the guy that was doing it. He was just pressing a button.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it was an automatic thing. I think they very well could have manually put that up, but I'm just saying they might have done that for everyone, and that was just the standard thing they did. Because I don't think during his speech they played the get the fuck off the stage music, so they might have let him go on longer. They just put that screen up because that's just what they do after the timer counts down. But
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe laptop guy should have held off 5 seconds when that guy was trying to.
It became a
it was bad timing.
It became a super bad look because he was literally talking about a dude dying, and then there's just a fucking picture of a please wrap it up.
Wrap it up, bud.
Yeah,
Like, come on, we don't care. We have money to make. Let's go.
Not here for this.
Definitely didn't help
I
the
think
optics.
there were added trailers too, so
Yeah,
that
it
was
the
just
end.
Jeff Keighley being like, "Who cares? No one asked Bozo get off the stage.
This guy.
Spider-Man should have won."
Maybe that's why he was so upset. He thought Spider-Man should have been the winner.
God.
Dude, did you guys see the tweet the other day? Some dude. Now, I didn't play the Spider-Man game, but some dude just posted up a fucking cutscene from the game and was like, it's crazy this didn't win Game of the Year. Like, we should just start posting trailers. Like, this is insane this didn't win Game of the Year.
By the way, that's when the game peaked. The game peaks within the first hour when you're doing this and it just throws you into this huge 30-minute long, like, epic boss battle that should have easily been the end of the game. And I'm like, oh my god, are they going to be able to keep this up? No, they're not. They probably crunched, for that.
And they probably peaked early because they realized most people play like 3 hours and never touch the rest of the game. So you just start strong.
I always get depressed on, like, I see the achievement percentage and it's like 50% of the people have completed the second level. It's like, I'm only like an hour in. 50% of you guys backed out of this.
Like every story game is like that. It's like the first level has a decent percentage and then it's just a fucking gigantic drop off, which is crazy in new games because people are paying $70 to not play any of them. But then again, I think I've done that like 5 times this year. So, who am I to talk? So.
I think the wild part about the Spider-Man bullshit the most is not 5 months ago, everybody was tearing this shit apart. And they're like, no, you had so much amazing potential in the first one. And look at the differences. They killed it. This is terrible. It's so much worse. And there's like people bitching and moaning about all the shit. Like, I can't even take this bicycle into 2 levels that I wasn't supposed to even have a bicycle in. This game sucks. And the same bitches who are all like, well, Spider-Man 2 didn't win because of all this other bullshit. And it's just, everything is woke and bad. I'm like, the game wasn't good. It wasn't good comparatively. Like, get over it.
It was so much like the first game. I thought maybe they were going to do a bunch of shit with having 2 Spider-Men in it because, that was like the whole selling feature. That absolutely was a Peter Parker game with his like little sidekick character that would come in every now and then. And it was so obnoxious. It's like, okay, he's going to have the black suit. Miles is going to be there just to kick his ass and get it off of him. And then they're going to fight Venom. And everyone said that from like the first trailer. And it was totally right. They did not. I was like, maybe they're going to do co-op. Maybe you'll have, I think in the Batman Arkham Knight game, there's levels where you have to use both characters and you can switch between them and do like team takedowns and shit. I don't think Spider-Man 2 utilized that at all. They ruined their whole selling feature of the game. It was just a shitty Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
I think they wasted their potential by not pulling No Way Home and just throwing in all 3 Spider-Men and just calling it a day.
Yeah. They could have. They set up at the end credit scene that they're going to add Cindy Moon, which is really weird because I don't think any Spider-Man fans are a fan of her because the one time she was in comics, it was because her and Peter Parker were like in heat because they were both spider people. It was it's pretty graphic. I won't go too into it, but no one likes that character, and they're
So
trying to
just-
set her up for the.
But I'm just saying, like
Scientific reference.
on Twitch, that's just fair game these days. So.
Oh, you know what? So then they go into deep heat with each other, and they actually try and fuck for like 5 issues, and they literally have to like fight them off of each other.
Right. Okay.
And Insomniac read that and was like, "Dude, we got to put this in the game."
Where is this so I know not to find it?
Just put in Cindy Moon Spider Totem.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up the Game Awards. I did when I was looking up the picture of the Razor, I did stumble into this. Do you guys remember this from a few years ago when they had the Fortnite ad for the Blood Gulch game mode with fucking ninja and shit? That was goated.
Right.
That was the last time Red versus Blue and Rooster Teeth was, anything worth talking about.
Didn't they run like a? Wasn't
They
this the ad for their like Red vs Blue Zero season?
I think
oh,
so.
I wouldn't
Thought it was like the
remember.
promo for that.
They laid off like I think 90% of their workers after that season or the
It's
season after
so-
that.
That's not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think they had long fallen off, but that is too bad. But
Yeah.
alrighty, well, why don't we talk about the new Twitch rules? So basically, let me see if I can find the tweet real quick. Then I won't misquote anything. But Twitch basically tweeted out today. So a lot of people lately, there's been a lot of hubbub about, I don't know, like effectively topless girls streaming, but they're actually wearing like a tube top. Supposedly, I don't fucking know.
It's artistic, okay?
But yeah, so Twitch came out and said that they realized, like, I don't know, the lines aren't clear, and then they just decided, like, fuck it, you do you. Basically, I think that's the basic gist, you know.
It's crazy that you could just type in on Google anime titties right now and you wouldn't get in trouble.
Hey, you can do whatever you want now on Twitch.
You
It's
could
fair
use
game.
this newfound power, Rash. Come on,
You know,
let it
I-
flow through you. Open up a new tab.
I was
So come
gonna.
with your
I'd
push.
have to cut it from the YouTube VOD. That's a lot of effort.
Oh yeah, that is.
I was trying to find you tweets to like show that weren't super crazy, and in that I was subjected to Vermin Supreme naked. I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want this topic anymore.
Perry
I
Perry
think-
said, "Hold on, let me take off the screen and then I'm gonna peek." Perry said the art section is just 90% porn.
Yeah.
let me
I think it
let me
is-
venture in.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
can
be
you
like
confirm that?
I don't want to be like too fragile, but I feel like I am getting like almost sexually assaulted with when I open up Twitch.
Oh my
Yeah.
lord!
I'm here to watch
Yeah,
games,
you
and,
guys
it's
got to
just
go to the
titties.
art section. Holy moly!
All right. Hell yeah.
It's
We're
just-
browse.
It's just hentai, like the whole page.
Oh
It's
my
hentai
god!
and it's art. Where the fuck is the art section?
Oh, whoa.
This is a lot. It's literally called art, Chipmunk. It's just called art. So just search it
Oh, here
at
we
the
go.
top.
Hmm.
This is
Oh,
a lot.
Man,
wow.
I got nothing fun. This sucks. I got
This-
ugly
well, that's-
Garfield. The fuck is
That's
this?
That's creative.
You must have
though.
the censored version of Twitch or something, because
I can
I
share screen
guess.
if you want. Real
I'm
quick,
seeing
Chipmunk.
I'm seeing a lot more than
Feel
than
like- okay, I found
Garfield.
one.
Yeah,
Here we
hang
go.
on. All right, open up my screen share. Oh, I can't screen share near unlucky.
Oh, I think it's.
Oh,
his-
yep. Now I'm
shit.
starting to see them.
All right, he found them.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
You-
It
found
was
'em.
my number one result. They were the most viewed ones.
Yeah, you probably have it sorted by recommended. I bet, Chipmunk, instead of viewers.
Probably.
So
Someone named theirs XXX Artistic Nudity Stream, and they redid the PBS logo to say piss. Love it. Because their name is piss. Okay, that makes sense.
all right, well, you know, I mean that's fair. So yeah, that's Twitch now. So how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about this new rule change? You think it
I
good?
I hate it.
hate
I saw your take on Twitter, but I think the fact that they released this change without setting up any I don't even think I've say on here if I'm 18 plus or not. Like I definitely think you should have to check that off, and it should say, "Do you want to see titties?" And then you have to
Yeah, but
like
who's gonna say no
check
to that?
out. I mean, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna open up Twitch right now.
I mean, it's just like the
And on my
NSFW
front
filter
page,
on like Reddit
right.
or something, right? Like Reddit's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cesspool
the
of porn.
actual adult
But-
site. Like,
but,
it's
like,
just a button.
If you don't want to see it on Reddit, you just filter it off. So like it does
Yeah, they-
like these things do exist on other sites.
Yeah, but they're
they
so
this change without
minimalistic.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the ones on Reddit where there's like it'll say like 18 plus and it's blurred and you'd have to click it off. If they just
Yeah.
added that to Twitch, I'd be totally okay with this. But it's the fact that like little kids are just gonna be like, oh, time for ninja, and then see actual tits now.
Perry said you don't even have to log in. You just roll up to the website now.
Holy shit! Exactly. You have to at least log in on Reddit.
Yeah, you do.
Well, it's like my thing
You know,
about
when
it
it
is oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Like I'm very much into that scene. Like obviously I like that kind of stuff. I'm cool with it. I'm very positive around that space. But I also think that there's a time and a place for those activities. This website is not necessarily for that purpose. And the other portion of that, I think a lot of people are not realizing, Twitter has this problem too, but when you have that kind of content, you have to abide by very specific rules, and then payment processors don't want to work with that.
Yeah.
So if you lose the ability to take payments, which Twitch possibly could do, you can't do business. No one will touch you. And that is extremely hard for a lot of the adult industry because they can't do typical things like that. You can't do it through PayPal. You can't do it through most normal like credit card processors because they don't want to touch any of that kind of shit because they're very behind the scenes like conservative-esque type people.
I think also there's probably
I-
a higher rate of chargebacks for shit like that. Like, oh, that was on my
Absolutely.
credit card
Yeah.
bill. I didn't
That's-
pay for that.
That's a huge reason too, is like they don't want to deal with all the chargebacks because they're losing money constantly and
Yeah.
people are getting free products basically. So you're seen as a huge risk and liability as a business who offers that kind of service. Well, then you're just fucked. Like, have it be in the places it needs to be. Totally cool. Those people are fine with that. And then you don't run the risk of losing something that we all want, which is a place to be able to stream.
Yeah, so I will say, so earlier my thought is still pretty much the same. Like, I don't really care. Like, kind of do whatever. Like, use Twitch for what you want. Like, my homepage is still like a bunch of kids playing COD right now. So it's like, it does cater it to your account if you use Twitch. But if it's a brand new kid rolling up to the website, their front page probably won't have the art section, luckily, because I don't think that can go on the front page now. But it might have a girl with like her cleavage showing, but it probably would have had that before anyways. So I don't know. I don't think Twitch is a website for kids. Like, I realize there are no age verifications, but even if it's not like softcore porn, like nothing on this website is kid appropriate. Like the things that even like the old dudes talk about when they're streaming is like not something your like 10-year-old kid should be listening to. So unless you're as a parent gonna vet what they're watching on Twitch, because there are plenty of streamers that are kid friendly, I don't think your kid should be on Twitch. So, and they shouldn't be chatting in fucking Twitch because that shit's a cesspool. So like I get it, but I also don't think this was a kid's website in the first place. Like, I think this should be a website for adults, which it's not. I understand that, like, a majority, or not majority, but a sizable section of the viewer base of Twitch is kids. Same with YouTube. But, like, I don't know.
I get that it's not. Yeah, I get that it isn't a kid's platform. You know, I understand that, but I think, and you know, everything on here isn't PG and isn't kid friendly. I understand that. But I think a lot of parents would be okay with, you know, their kids watching people play video games and maybe talk about some non-kid friendly stuff. I think a lot of parents would be okay with that. It's just the nudity stuff they're not okay with. So if they don't want their kids seeing that, they might have to block the website altogether. Whereas if that stuff was banned, they'd have no problem with them using the website, even though some people might discuss non-kid friendly stuff. But
yeah, and
my take on it. And I was gonna say one other thing is, like, people that are mad about this, when it comes to stuff like this, I'd usually say direct that hate, like, not necessarily at Twitch, but the people that support this stuff, and you know that's the reason it exists. Because if nobody watched it, it wouldn't exist. So I'm not really the type to point the finger at Twitch and be like
nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not the type to point the finger at Twitch and be like, you have to ban this because I don't like it. I'd be the guy to, you know, point the finger at the people supporting it and be like, you know, stop supporting this crap if, you know, and, you know, that's the reason it exists or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe this is just an internet problem at large, because for some reason with OnlyFans becoming big, people are buying so much porn. Am I crazy? Wasn't porn free for like,
Oh yeah, no, you're not
Yeah,
wrong.
you know,
I mean,
maybe
It's at an
literally
all-time high.
hundreds of years at this point?
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we paying for it so much?
It's
And why
so-
are
it's
so many
so
women?
It's the
they're,
it's
like,
like the
becoming internet
social.
stars with it.
It's like the social. It's like the. I don't know. It's the weird.
Parasocial?
Yeah, it's like the weird parasocial relationship that like, feeds
Yeah.
all these people that don't have proper like social interactions. And that I think, I guess I mean that in a derogatory way, but like, if you pay for a bunch of OnlyFans subscriptions, like, touch grass. I don't fucking know. Like, there's real people you can talk to. You don't have to pay someone over the internet for it. But
I mean, it's an issue in Japan, isn't it? Like, isn't there like birth rates like in the gutter because they love, you know, anime titties too much?
I mean, I think
Well, I don't really think
birth
it's
rates
OnlyFans
everywhere
problem,
are
but yeah,
down, but I don't know if that's just an OnlyFans problem. I think that's just like our society
Damn
as a
anime
problem doesn't interact with each other. We all play on our phones and we all sit at home and like you don't go out and meet people anymore. Like we just chill. Like you just stare at Instagram and you're like, oh, what a great life you have. And then you click like and then you move on to the next picture. You click like you don't just like
Perry's saying it's worse in Japan too.
yeah. Well, fair enough. I mean, I don't know Japanese culture, but like, so that's fair game. But yeah, I was gonna say like, to BHB's point, I mean, it's fair. I don't like disagree with that. I think some of the reasoning that people I see are like the main reasons that I see that people are upset are one, the dumb people that still think that like some girl streaming is taking away their viewership, which is fucking insane to me. Like, I don't know how people still think that's a thing. Like, the person watching someone like body paint was not going to watch you play Warzone, I promise. Like, they were not. So you don't have to worry about it.
I can't imagine those people are watching very long anyway.
honestly,
So. You got about 3 minutes, and then they'll come to your stream.
Like what? Do they not have 2 monitors? Just,
Yeah, they got Warzone. You got Warzone on one, body painting on the other. You're good to go.
But even then, like, if you think that is what's taking away from your Warzone stream, why don't you body paint while you play Warzone? Solve the problem.
You can do whatever you want. It might be hard.
Yeah,
Do whatever you want.
But yeah, so I see that, and then there's also like the kids argument, and that one I think is more fair. But there should be a filter. It should require you to log in. There should be that shitty checkbox that says, "Are you 18?" that doesn't do anything, because like the fact that it's not even there is kind of crazy. But if that stuff was there, it really doesn't stop anyone. Like, it still comes down to parents parenting. Like, if you let your kid go on YouTube has way better like moderation, right? But you can still find some shit on YouTube that's like not kid appropriate if your kid is just allowed to just fumble around YouTube all on their own.
Isn't that gay dude still not banned? Like when he said he's like gonna shave his asshole.
What the fuck?
Oh, that clip.
Oh,
yeah.
that one.
So that's a legendary video, Chipmunk. You should seek that one out. I think he says. I think it's called like how to nair your butthole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on that one. I don't think I need to learn how to do that. I'm fine being hairy.
You might want to. It's good info. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't. The biggest thing is, I think like in the long run, this probably hurts Twitch, because like if this becomes bigger than it already is, are like mainstream companies really going to want to run ads on Twitch? Like, Kick has no ads. There's a reason for that. It's because you go on Kick and it's a fucking cesspool of trash. And like,
finally stop subscribing to people.
Yeah.
They're follow for
if they stop getting you'll get the Twitter ads where it's like, instead of a real ad that for a real company, you just get an ad for a fucking AI bot that makes deep fake. So it's even worse. It only goes downhill.
That's true.
Well, it's like you also got to think too. I mean, like I said, Twitter has the same problem, and it's to the point now where like if I report something, it'll say, "Oh, we got your report," and then they'll do an update, and it just says "view report," period, and there's nothing to click. So it's only as good as the reporting system. So if they're not actually like moderating the platform, it doesn't matter if they have all the checks and balances in the world. If they're not doing anything with it, it's fucking pointless. So
I used to get like on Twitter after I reported someone like, "Oh, this person was violating shit." I don't think I've gotten one of those since Elon's taken over.
No,
I've seen some wild shit on Twitter.
It's been noticeably worse, to the point where like horribly, obviously egregious shit can get reported, and they'll come back and be like, "Nah, we've totally reviewed it. Didn't break a single rule." I'm like, this is literally federally like illegal, big bad. I promise you, it broke the rules.
Well, I mean, is there anyone working there anymore? Didn't he fire like literally like 500 people, and there's like 7 people left or some shit?
I think he fired
that's all they
like
need
most
to
of
approve
the safety staff.
That's all they need to approve the AI bot fucking ads that get shown on my feed. Have you noticed now that ads try and sneak themselves in and they don't even say sponsored anymore? You'll be scrolling through a post and you'll see a fucking tweet that says, "This is how I got my testosterone up," and you're like, that wasn't related to the tweet that I was reading. How did that get there?
God, what?
Well, that's only illegal in Europe. In the US, I don't think we have
fair game. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Sick.
So
pretty much. I mean, like, there's restrictions, but it's again if you get caught. And who is?
And I mean, he's literally the richest guy on Earth. So I mean, he probably gets a $20,000 fine like max, and what is that to him?
Yeah.
That's when I drop a penny, probably less.
Yeah.
That's less than what
Personally, I think that like this goes for Facebook too. I think that when all these platforms started allowing the regular person to post ads, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worst thing they could have possibly done, because these people don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then we get shit like that, and it's hilarious, but also it's like super dangerous. That was a huge mistake. I wish we could undo that.
Yeah, but then a lot of the
to
stuff I see
hold
does
the other
technically
part.
look like a company. It's just some shady ass fucking company. So like,
Yeah, well, it's like some person who took like a Amazon FBA course on fucking Udemy for 2
Hell
minutes
yeah.
and it's like, I'm now a social media expert. Hashtags. SEO guys. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, should we talk about what we've been playing
yeah,
recently?
let's talk about video games. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably a better idea. All
Yeah,
right.
we derailed, sorry.
Who wants to go first? BHB, have you played a video game?
Oh, I have. I've actually
Oh,
played
shit.
video games.
All right, you first
Holy
then.
shit.
So the first game I played was I've been playing Remnant 2, and I've been enjoying it. I played the first one, enjoyed the first one. I think I already mentioned this to you, Rash, but when the game came out, me and my friends wanted to play it, but I didn't want to drop 60 on the game, and so we waited several months and we bought it like on the last day of the recent Steam sale, and the day after we bought the game, it goes on Game Pass. So I mean that's just kind of that's my luck. That happens with a lot of things. Like we waited months to get this game, and the day after I get it, it's on Game Pass. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So that was annoying. But the game itself, I've been enjoying it, but I don't know, it's kind of just meh to me. Like it's a lot of I felt like the first game was more challenging from what I remember. Like all the bosses that we fight in Remnant 2 are just pretty easy. We don't really struggle on them. Like sometimes we'll one phase them or first try. Others it takes us maybe 2 or 3, but it hasn't been that difficult. And then like the sections in between the boss fights are kind of like these like mini free roam type of areas. You can kind of pick which path and choose how you move through them. And the enemy density isn't that high, so there's like a few enemies here, and it's not really challenging. You kind of just slowly make your way through it. Nothing's really happening. I wish those in between sections were more like a mission in a single player game, or like a Destiny Strike or something like that. That would be more appealing. And then you make your way through. You get to a boss room. The boss, he's not that challenging, and we move on. So it's okay. It's an interesting game, but I don't love it. And the other game I was playing recently was the Finals, and I've
That's Chipman's favorite game. Can't shit on it too
I
hard.
I watched a lot of Arash, streaming it, but I never got into it. But I've been playing it recently, and I've been having a lot of fun. Like I'm actually surprised by how much I'm enjoying the game, but I have some issues with the game mode. The way like you win, it's kind of frustrating because when you're cashing out and you're defending your point, you can defend it for a while, wipe multiple teams, and then a team can come in at the very end and yoink it from you, and they get it. Like I can't stand that. There's been multiple times me and my team will run to a vault, beat the team at the vault, take the cash, run it across the map, fight multiple teams off as we do, defend the point, and then we die. Somebody takes it last second and we don't get it. Like it just doesn't feel like they earn that,
Wait until you hear about extraction shooters and extraction campers.
Don't play extraction shooters. So
That
that
so
shit
annoying
just.
in
I don't
Tarkov
feel
and
like the
in-
better team is winning when I play that.
Have you
Yeah.
tried playing Bankit instead?
See,
What is it?
There's 2 different main like modes. There's the regular one, what you're talking about, where it's cash out and you have to get like 20,000 or whatever, and whoever steals or put deposits wins. But there's another one where you don't have to wait for it. Like you just kill people, you take vaults or whatever, and you just toss in. As soon as it's in there, it's yours.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
think I played that. Was that the unranked? I've mainly been playing the tournament mode.
Yeah, I think
it's
the
not in
mode.
tournament.
The mode he's talking about is unranked. So yeah, I will say like what BK is mentioning with like extraction campers. So the big difference is like in the finals you can camp the cash out spot and they can kill you when you bring it. That's fair game. But the annoying part is once you put it in, you have to defend it for so long. And it's not like an extraction shooter. Like most extraction shooters, you wait what? Maybe 30 seconds, 20 seconds probably. The helicopter comes down and you jump in, and like most likely, like if you're playing, I mean I haven't played Tarkov, but like if you were playing DMZ and you extract, at most maybe one team tries to kill you off the extraction zone if they weren't previously there. Like they just don't have enough time to get there to stop you, right? You just leave. In the finals, like the whole last lobby has time to show up. Not only do they have time to show up, they have time to show up for you to wipe them, for them to respawn and to come back and try again.
Oh, so, yeah, but guess what? I don't have a chance to come back and try again because they wipe us right before it extracts. So it's so annoying. You wipe multiple teams, and then we die one time and don't have time to get back there. So I think that mode needs some work, but everything else, I'm really enjoying.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy games. So.
Yeah, I will say I haven't played the full release. Like last time I played was the open beta, but that was still a problem back then. So I don't know how you fix that unless they make tournament mode bang it or whatever, where if you just
I think it should reset. I think if they convert it, it should reset.
That's fair. Or maybe like
the match might go on longer, but there's other ways you can balance that. You could just have a set timer or something like that. But yeah, I think it should reset.
Well, I think the problem with
winning extraction mode is too low.
The amount of cash you need.
Yeah, the amount of cash is way too low, and I think that's part of the reason why you like. I think your main point makes sense, but like I think you'd be less frustrated if it was like 50,000 you had to extract with, rather than 20.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, it's super frustrating.
Well, because that's 5 minutes. We don't have enough time. Yeah,
right.
The cash like goes up too. So like if you're on like a mid game cash out and someone steals it last minute, you just go from like maybe moving on to just losing. Like if you lose the one cash out, it can be the difference between like moving on in the tournament mode and just losing the whole thing, which can be frustrating.
Yeah, or maybe kills should be more money so that, we actually benefit from wiping multiple squads while we're defending the point, So it's not as big of a deal that they converted it at the last second and stole it. Maybe that.
Yeah, I wonder if they could do something where it's like if you're holding the spot, kills are like increased so that you can't just run around and play TDM. But if you're defending a cash out, you get like a benefit, like maybe every time you kill someone, you get X percentage of the cash out, and it just like instant goes. And then, so if they die multiple times and they wipe you on the third try, they steal it, but only get like a lesser percent because it took them X amount of time. Or if it just slowly siphoned the money instead of being like all of it at once. Like if you plugged it in and it started going, and even if it ramped up in speed or something, like, so it wasn't just all or nothing, that last second is the only second that matters. If it made it so like, hey, you held this effectively king of the hill for 2 minutes or whatever, like you get a majority of the points and this team kind of showed up at the end. But then you'd have the problem where like as it sat there longer, no one would show up. So I don't know. I don't know if
there's definitely things they could do to adjust that mode and make it better.
Yeah, but how do you feel about like the balancing between the different classes and stuff? Because I saw some people complaining that they kind of like ruined the light class that a lot of people liked playing.
I mean, I haven't
tracked movement of that.
I've only played as a medium, and I don't think I'd want to play as anything else. But I mean, the lights, their guns melt, but they also get melted. And the heavies the opposite. I think it's balanced kind of decent just from the little bit I've played, but I haven't played as a light or a heavy, so I don't really know for sure. But I'm digging the medium. It is I get why they don't do this, but I kind of just wish I have a secondary. The amount of times like I'll shoot somebody with a scar and they will have a sliver of health left, and I don't have like a secondary to pull out is annoying. Just give me a pistol that does 1 HP. I'll take that. That's fine. That's all I need. But I just have to reload and they run away, so that's a little frustrating. But I get the low amount of ammo in the scar is how they balance it. But
so do you think it's actually been performing, I'm gonna be honest, way better than I thought it would? Do you think it kind of keeps that up, or do you think it'll dwindle off?
I mean, I see it probably. I mean, I do see it dwindling off. I do. I don't know how. I don't know. I wish we had a roadmap so we could see how things are going to play out. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a game people are going to be playing long term, because I mean it's really like it's like what, two modes, like there's not a ton of variety there, I guess. So I don't know how many times, how long it's going to keep people playing, keep them engaged. So
Yeah. Chipmunk, I know you played a ton of it pre-release. Have you played the full release?
Oh yeah, dude, I love it. It's
All
great.
right.
Like there's definitely things that I would like to see changed about it. But I think a vast majority of people, like I saw a lot of people talking about when it first, like day one, first couple days, they're like, "Oh, they fucked the movement up so bad. You're so slow." I'm like, it's really not that bad. I think that I would agree about the balancing. It's for the most part fairly balanced. Um, Time to kill on some things, either like up the mag size or like maybe up the damage just a little bit, because that's the most frustrating part is getting down to that last little tiny sliver, and you don't have any bullets left. And like
Right.
I know that you can do damage by throwing things at people, but it's not always readily available. And not having a secondary really fucks with that. But overall, like during the beta, I was mostly playing as a medium. I tried playing as a light, and I started playing as a heavy like a couple days ago. And it's really not bad. Like I think overall, it's a lot of fun. I wish the cash out amount was higher. I wish that there was maybe like another game mode, but I mean, it just launched, so I can't really complain too much. But overall, like I think it's a pretty solid game. I don't know if it'll last super long, but I agree that having a roadmap is kind of probably a little important. But I think the fact that they had people going feral during the betas in the Discord, that they had people every single day were like, please God, give us a drop date, and then they just during the game awards like, oh yeah, by the way, it's on today. Here you go, bye. And then it just exploded. So I don't think they're gonna do too bad. I'd give it like a year before we start seeing anything like declining. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I will say, no, I'm not saying the finals will die. Like for all I know, it could be around for a long time. Like I don't know. There's nothing wrong with a game like hitting a really high population for like a year and then like dwindling off. Like I get everything's supposed to be a live service that lasts forever nowadays, but honestly, as long as companies aren't losing their ass like in terms of development costs, as long as they're able to make their money back and the game was playable and everyone could play it and have fun for a while, I think it's just normal for games to die out. Like, I think this trend where we try to keep the same game alive forever is probably detrimental to like it's more fun when you can just roll up and play like a couple new games throughout the year that are like fun multiplayer games. Whereas now, like the finals is probably the first. I'm trying to think the first like AAA multiplayer game this year that is any good that's like actually new. I don't consider COD new because it's just the yearly iteration of COD. Because what else has there been this year in multiplayer? There's been like BattleBit, obviously, but that's indie.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think that's pretty much the only one that's up there. And even then, like, I think it's also like game fatigue, essentially. Is there so many things that come out anyways? I agree that having a game be super long life is, while we would all love our favorite game to last forever, it's kind of bad in most cases. Like Siege right now, especially, it's great, it's fun, I like it, but it's kind of hitting that point where now it's a lot of people are falling off because they're like, well, what's new? Like things are breaking, and we're not really getting the same wow factor. Like they just launched a new season and they got some good stuff in there, but people are like drained. It's year 8. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, and they have a plan for allegedly 10 years, but is it gonna last that long? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think it'll die.
Well,
off
you said
completely.
year 8. I mean, that is a long time.
Yeah.
For me personally, I do want games to last a long time, like definitely longer than a year. Like I remember the days of Halo 3, how many years that lasted me. I would love another game that is just that good and
Yeah,
has that much
I'm not-
longevity to it.
I'm not saying the finals should shut down after a year. I'm just saying like I don't think everything needs to have like active development forever. Like if the finals
It
had
doesn't.
2 or 3 years of updates and then it existed for another 5 or so years as the player base slowly dwindled away, I don't think that's the end of the world. Like not everything needs to be a permanent live service, Fortnite or League of Legends or Valorant or whatever. Well, Valorant hasn't been around that long, but like or Siege or whatever, where you just know like season 7,000 is coming out next week. Yay! Like the Apex gets a new season every once in a while, and I just don't give a fuck anymore because I've tuned into so many different Apex seasons that like as a not Apex main at this point, like There's nothing Apex does anymore that I care about. It's just new Apex season, and it's like you have all these live service games doing the same thing. That's just like I don't know. It is more fun when stuff like the finals comes out and it's an actual new game you can play for a bit. And if it doesn't last forever, it's not like the end of the world. But at least it's something like at least it's a company actually making a new game. It's not just a season for an event. And like I get Fortnite has like mastered live service and they really do like actually, the game like changes a ton and they add whole ass new video games into Fortnite. Right. And so they're like the top of the live service chain, but there's so many games where it just feels like it just kind of drags on. And there's just like, oh, here's the new season, here's a new character, here's a new map. All right, see you in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally agree. I feel like in a way, I know we've had this discussion before with paid DLC, but I feel like paid DLC alleviated some of these issues of just trying to squirt out a game as long as possible to get all the revenue out versus like when they had the paid DLC, they were incentivized to keep making it worthwhile, and once they realized that it wasn't worthwhile anymore, they'd go to the next game. But EA introduced season passes, and I think that also threw a wrench into things.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
The problem with paid DLC is it made multiplayer games like such a pain in the ass to play. It's like I get your point and I don't disagree.
But there was
with
a
that.
way around that. Like, are you saying because not everyone had the maps?
Yeah, and it just made like if I bought.
Well, I think they. So I was just the answer to that is you easily just allow people without the map pack to search that playlist. Now I know you're saying with friends that you probably can't search together, but in like some games people were just they couldn't play the playlist at all if they didn't have.
Yeah,
the maps.
that was like Halo 3.
I think you should be able to search the playlist even if you don't have the maps. And yeah, you could even play with friends. You're just not going to get the new maps. I think that's how you fix that issue.
Yeah, but the problem with that is like COD did that. You could search whatever playlist you wanted, and if you bought the maps and you like, I feel like half the time you just wouldn't see any. Like if you bought every map pack, because
you do a map pack playlist.
Sure, but like but then you're playing. I guess.
And I love the map pack playlists.
Yeah, I mean those are nice.
Over time, though, I definitely did have to disable DLCs because all my friends didn't have it, and that was that. But from like, if you look at the DLC maps of COD, they were some of the best maps that they even added to those games. Versus now, I mean, it's rare you ever get a good map later in the life of a Call of Duty game.
Right. Yeah, and the maps that could be because the maps are free. They're not.
Yeah, well, I
relying
think
on people to pay for them.
I think that's exactly. It's because now the new COD season sells guns, it sells skins, so that's what the focus probably goes into because that's the shit that sells the battle pass, right? So the new map just needs to be there so that you relaunch the game, but at the same time, like I think COD multiplayer does that the worst, but they do a better job in like other modes, right? Like Warzone dropped a whole ass new map and basically giant balance change. Like if you didn't buy MW3, Warzone this year is a whole ass fucking different game than Warzone last year. So COD does it better not in multiplayer. Multiplayer for them is like some redheaded stepchild.
Yeah. It's crazy how much they don't give a shit about multiplayer anymore. I'd love to see the numbers that have made them think this way.
I mean, yeah, I assume they probably make a shit ton more money off of. Well, I think part of the problem, but they always stagger it, right? So all the Warzone kids buy the multiplayer anyways to level up their guns before Warzone comes out.
Yeah.
So they get their money from the purchase, and then they go play Warzone, and they buy all the battle passes and the skins for the rest of the year, and then they just redo the cycle the next year. They're like, oh, new multiplayer game, I'll play that for a month. They spend $70 to unlock their skins and their camos, and then they just play Warzone the rest of the year. So the stats probably just show, like, why would we put more effort in? Most of these people play for a month.
Yeah, I mean, I admittedly also have stopped playing multiplayer
So
since
have I.
Warzone's come out. So
I've only played Warzone.
we're definitely the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah,
Here, but
it's true actually. So you know what? Fair play. Well played, Activision. You got me again this year. Next year, I'll tell myself
They
I
just
won't buy
know
the
the
multiplayer,
engagement.
but I will. So
Yeah, because otherwise, could you imagine how unfun it would be right now with all these meta guns that like you and I just like randomly had leveled up? If you had to actually like try and grind that out inside of Warzone, that'd be so miserable.
you probably just get shit on for like a week while you unlock one of them.
Exactly.
So I mean, you could do the challenges, so you could just like focus one of them. But yeah, I mean, it would make it also harder to go from like meta to meta, because the guns that are meta now probably will get nerfed whenever there's the first update. So like
Yeah.
we have like a wider variety of crap that was leveled for multiplayer, but if you only played Warzone and you only like leveled up the 2 meta guns, as soon as that update hits, like you're back to square one. You probably don't have anything to use. But yeah, what other games has anyone been playing? I played a beautiful game, and let me pull up some gameplay on screen just so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because otherwise probably no one's heard of this game. But it's a World War II FPS. It's called United 1944. It actually came out yesterday, and it is
Today we're going to check
oh
out
God, this
United
is-
1944.
Oh God. Sorry, I got jump scared by septic falcon. So this is one of the oddest first person shooters I've played in a while, because like I want to say it's straight trash, but it like I played it for a few hours. Like it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Now I wouldn't
You
really.
played for a few hours because you were trying to desperately see what part of the extraction shooter
I had to
was.
see it. So all right, so here's the thing, right? It's a World War II survival extraction shooter that also randomly has domination in the game as a separate game mode you can play. But domination has all of the same mechanics as the survival extraction mode. So there's crafting, there's base building, and like there's an RPG level tree that resets at the start of every game. So when you load into a server, because this is a game with servers, like server browsers, it's not like a proper matchmaking system. So you can load into a survival lobby, and there'll be some dude that's been playing there for like 2 hours. He's like level 15, and he has all the higher level weapons unlocked and like all the perks or whatever, and you just roll in as a level 1, and you just gotta grind it out. And so there are some things you can do in the extraction mode where you can extract specific perks that you find and you save them. However, the problem is you can't extract until you're at level 5. You can unlock this box that falls out of the sky, and you can unlock like treasure or perks that you can find, but you can't actually extract your character until level 10. So like I played for probably a little over 2 hours just to extract. And the whole time you basically just run around. There's these little like information caches on the map, and you rock up and you hit them with a hammer. And when you hit them with a hammer, it sends out a ping to everyone that you're hitting some shit with a hammer. So like people will come and try and kill you. But if they don't, you take the documents, and you can either use the documents to build a base, or you can take the documents to your already built base and like basically turn them in for experience points. And doing that lets you level up. And during all of this, you have to craft all the shit you want. So like if you want a sniper rifle, you have to find the materials on the ground and craft it. Or like if you want grenades or bandages, you have to craft it all. The only thing that is persistent, because you can die on the server and it doesn't like kick you out, you just respawn. The only thing that you keep is your primary weapon. So if you craft a gun, you'll keep it until it runs out of durability, because the game also has gun durability for some reason. So it is a funky video game. Like it's got so many like conflicting mechanics, and the survival mode, you can play up to 3-person squads, but if you go in solo, you're just solo versus people that are playing 3-person squads, so you just get mowed down. There's like, it is one of the campiest survival extraction shooters I've ever seen. Like I played on the same server for like 2 hours. There was a guy, no joke, sat in the same 3-story building for the entire 2 hours, and I looked at the end, he had like 70 or 80 kills, and all he did was sit sit up there and
Jesus.
snipe, because the sniper for some reason is a one-shot headshot regardless of how far you are, and there's not like bullet travel. It's pretty easy to hit. So he just sat at the top of this building sniping, and if you killed him, he just went back up there, because you can like build doors and shit, but if they're your own doors, you can open them, but if they're someone else's doors, you have to break them down, so it takes like a lot longer. It's a pain in the ass. And he just sat up there with like 15 doors placed, walls placed, and if you got in, he had mines everywhere. You couldn't the only way to kill him was to snipe him, and then he would just go back. It was an odd experience, but I did extract, so like basically it's a great game. It's definitely better than the day before, so it's got that going for it.
When are you gonna play it again?
Lobotomy is better than the day before. Come on.
When am I gonna play it again? Well, I am gonna make a video out of it, so I might have to launch it just to like check some stuff, and that might be the
RIP your return.
I
I'm
told
already
this guy to
past the
play
return
actual
thing.
good games like Ready or Not, and he's like, "Sorry, got to record my shitty indie game that nobody gives a fuck about."
Oh
So I
yeah, I
have to
do.
wait 3 days. You should play Ready or Not. Ready or Not's 1.0 might be one of the best 1.0s I've ever played. The fact that they overhauled the UI or the AI as much as they did, totally changed how the game played, and the fact that there's like an actual story now, I kind of like want to play the game, because before it was just like, oh, I just go in here, shoot people, that's it. But to be motivated by like, I mean, a lot of this stuff actually probably would be even today's TOS Twitch. It's like really metal shit that is national news sometimes. There's a school shooter level. I haven't gotten there yet, so I'll report back. But
Really?
some of the other levels, yeah, I appreciate the fact that these guys are combating some of these pretty hardcore issues, and like to kind of play it firsthand. I know it's already fucked up in real life, but now that they added a story to it, and there's like you hear the phone calls beforehand, it's like, oh, it's no longer a game, and then you become so much more invested in it.
Hmm.
It's a rare opportunity in a game, because I mean, nowadays, if any of you guys played Squad, and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Squad's like basically like actually being in Afghanistan, that you're still not going to get any PTSD from that shit. But Ready or Not, it's immersion levels. You might see some shit that
I
makes
see.
you think at
It's a
night.
game that allows you to fulfill these crazy fantasies in a game instead of IRL.
Yeah.
They're
I
saving
can't
people.
wait for it to be banned.
Gives all those stolen valor people some content to talk about when they're bullshitting their stories.
Yeah, exactly.
They just
And it plays nice
recap a
too.
Ready or Not level.
I've seen some shit, man. Me and my whole squad.
There was there was an amazing streamer level where this guy's like doing illegal Bitcoin shit. And my favorite part of that is at the end of the level, when you get to him at his desk, you can see the webcam, and you can see like the OBS, and you can see like yourself walking around. And as soon as you enter the stream, chat starts blowing up, being like, "What the fuck? There's actual SWAT guys here. This isn't real." And chat's like actually like, like on a top streamer, like it's just blowing
What the
by.
fuck?
Yeah. It was that's on like the second level, so I think it was worth it, because that level took me like an hour to beat. All these levels, there's like 30 levels, and they all take like an hour to 30 minutes a pop.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to play it, so I'm excited to try it out. Last time I played Ready or Not was like forever ago, and it was alright. Like, you just kind of spawned in, walked around, told people to like put their hands up, and arrested them, and then you'd have to walk around and find like all the contraband, which was kind of annoying. But so I don't know.
They fixed that, so now, like, in that streamer level with the Bitcoin thing, there's like huge Bitcoin farms. You just hit F on those, and then anything else, like the guns, the AI will pick up by themselves, or they'll literally be glowing. So it's
Okay.
no longer like a random Easter egg hunt. It's like you go in there, civilians, bad guys, and then you hit F on like the very large thing. And like in a meth lab, you just hit F on the meth lab, and then that's it.
All right, yeah, that's probably better. I felt like before I was playing like You literally like an Easter egg hunt, like, oh, where's the random gun in the shelf that I forgot downstairs? Hope you didn't find it. You can't beat the level. Sucks to suck.
They totally fixed that. And now even with the grading, it used to be like, oh, you killed a guy, sorry, S or F level. But now I think the only way that you can get S tier is by not killing anyone. But I had a thing where like an officer died, I accidentally killed a civilian, and I still got an A+. So regular US law enforcement A+.
Just like real life.
Only one casualty.
It really is immersive, you know? They're just like, oh, I mean, that was fair play. Like, he probably deserved it. Yeah. Like,
exactly.
But no, when I play games like that, I'm so bad. Like, I don't know if bad's the right term. I just like don't care about the civilians or the score, so I just like roll in and just kill all the bad people. And like, if a civilian just gets hit in the friendly fire, like it just happens, man. Like, what are you gonna do?
Dude, you'd be such a great cop.
I'm
not a cop for a reason.
No, you'd be perfect.
I was like, who gives a shit? I'm just gonna go in here and kill these guys. One of the levels is these people are trying to assassinate a senator because he's getting rid of veterans' health insurance, and the people trying to assassinate him are ex-veterans. So you have to go in there and kill a bunch of veterans, and you're like, oh fuck, you know? Then maybe you will bring the beanbag gun because you don't want to kill this guy.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, anyone else played any good games recently? Guess we could talk a little bit about the scam before, but I feel like it's been so talked to death. I don't even know if it's worth the effort, but me and BK did play it, and it's one of the most dogshit video games I ever played, and shockingly, it was a scam, so that might just be enough about it.
Can you just start like by filling me in as to why people thought this like was a good game? Because wasn't it like the most wishlisted game on Steam?
They had some sick
like
trailers.
I never even fucking heard about it other than you talking about it.
Yeah, they had some trailers that made it basically, I mean, it was an impossible video game based on the company they were. Like, if Ubisoft put out the trailer for the day before, I still wouldn't believe it was a real video game. Like, basically, the trailer pitched it as a full-scale survival MMO with, like, a ton of zombies. You had, like, all this looting. You had, like, the crafting. You had all these, like, immersive areas that were full of life. And then it turns out the whole game is just an asset flip.
Oh.
So, the trailers though, they've you can still find them on like the old IGN pages and stuff, but when they released the game, they actually deleted all the old trailers off of their own page so that you couldn't go back and like see them.
I heard that.
So,
they tried apparently their best. The trailers were the best part of the game. Damn.
Oh, they for sure were. And dude, they're still tweeting for some reason. They're still tweeting about how they're shutting down. Bro, just shut down. No, like, well, why are we still tweeting about it? Like,
guys, we're for sure not a scam. Please don't sue us. We're definitely closing.
Every time that someone like runs an article or something about how, because they've been doing all sorts of weird shit. Like, so basically, fucking 3 or 4 days after the game launches, which is an insane short amount of time, they're like, yep, sorry, the game didn't make enough money, we're shutting down. Just immediately. And the second that tweet goes out, the CEO just deletes his Twitter account.
But it's fine, because they issued refunds.
But someone issued refunds, supposedly, but
did they? That was a joke, I didn't even know anyone.
So, like, you can get Steam refunds, but I have to imagine they must, like, for this to make any sense, they clearly have walked away with money from someone somewhere. And at this point, I don't know who, because the publisher also, but I also read somewhere that the publisher is them. Like, they're their own publisher. It's just like a different name. So like, I don't even understand the scam anymore. All I know is it is a scam, and they'll probably be back in like 3 years to do it again. So we'll wait for the day before, or like the day returns, and this time it'll be an extraction shooter, actually, because that's it. That's what it ended up being. It was like a shitty bare bones extraction shooter instead of like an MMO or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a bad game, but I'm actually glad that I got to try it, just to say that I played it, because like. It's just gonna be a piece of history. It's not a flex. It's just like my own curiosity. If I never got to play it, I would be curious how dog shit was it really, you know? And the answer is like, It was a non-video game. Like, there's bad video games that are bad. This was just a nothing burger. It was like an empty world that they bought off an asset marketplace with like 3 zombies, and that was it. You just walked around and looked for loot, and like the loot was so dispersed, it was like you were just walking, like literally walking for like 10 to 15 minutes with nothing happening down the streets of like a photo scanned in New York. Like it was a
Now,
weird video game.
Have any of you come across anyone saying it's actually a good game?
There's people in the replies
Really?
saying they liked it. There was a dude earlier that said that they hate cancel culture because it shut the game down. And the game was actually good.
They need help.
Bro, I don't know if those are real
Can't
people.
say I'm surprised.
Dude, I just saw, unrelated to the day before, someone posted their fucking Xbox snapshot, and they played over 1,000 hours of Redfall. How the fuck do you play over 1,000 hours of Redfall?
Why?
I don't know. How do you even play 10? But like, if you
I genuinely think some people like bad games. Actually.
Well, I think they think it's good because it's bad, and then
Aren't,
they
aren't
like
3 of you
kinda like how
guys
some
Halo
people-
streamers?
Shut up.
Can we talk shit on
Whoa,
a?
I'm not even a streamer.
Like,
Don't
I think
lump
it's
me
kinda
into
like
that crap.
thing where people will be like, I'm gonna say that cringy new slang word, whatever it is, and then it just like slowly creeps up into not being a joke anymore. I think it's the same concept where they're like, oh, this game sucks so bad. Isn't it so funny how bad it is? And like 2 weeks later, like, this is the greatest thing ever. It needs to win Game of the Year. Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. All right, anyone play any other games recently? Would you like to talk about?
I've been playing Red Faction Guerrilla in its original form.
So remind
There you
me.
go.
So I played the original way back on the 360, and then I played the remastered version. What actually was the difference? Other than the remastered version didn't have multiplayer, right?
I have no idea, to be honest. I'm weird about stuff like this, and a lot of it comes from the fact of like when we were doing stuff for the main channel, I tried to find things in its most original format because I wanted to get it like historically accurate.
Yeah.
So there are some games where like some people don't really give a shit. The footage is the footage and it's whatever. But like I want to experience games how they were supposed to be at that period in time to like really get a feel for like, let me see if it actually was dog shit. Because there's a lot of times people now, they'll go back to games that released like 10, 15 years ago. When they released, nobody liked the game. It was dog shit. Everybody was like, this is the worst thing ever. But now they're like, this is a cinematic masterpiece that was lost to time. And they're trying to be all like fucking big brained and shit about it. I want to see if it was actually good. So I don't know what was different. The remastered version. And I contemplated doing that. But I have the Xbox, and what makes me sad is the multiplayer does still work, to my knowledge, on the 360. I don't know how long that'll last because they are killing like pretty much everything, I think, next year. But I really want the ostrich, and I can't get the ostrich. That's like the one fucking thing that I want. I want the ostrich, and there's no way to do it. Back in the day, there was ways that you could cheese for it, and essentially it was just farming experience on a random custom game, and you just spend hours with somebody leveling a building, starting the game over, and doing it again. Now there's nothing. I can't do it. So it makes me sad.
And I always loved the Red Faction games. I got to go back and replay them.
I don't think
I never played the Armageddon one. I did, but
replay the first one and then just call it there. You're good. Well, technically replay Guerrilla. I mean, you could go replay the first two FPS games.
Two and Guerrilla were good as well.
Yeah. The FPS games, 1 and 2 were fine. Those are just older. And then replay Guerrilla. Guerrilla was really good. And then just stop there. You're good. You don't need to play Armageddon. Like just leave that out of your memory. You don't need to taint a good franchise, because I have no clue who the fuck thought Armageddon was a good idea. They had so the first 2 games, I understand they were like held back by the limitations of technology at the time. And plus they were an FPS game, so you can't have like a full ass building dropping down on you in an FPS game because like you can't see shit. That's probably not very fun.
Right.
So they go third person for Guerrilla. It's an open world game because everything was during the 360 era, and so you had an open world game with like full destruction. The story was kind of whatever, but the whole fun of the game was it was like a super fun sandbox. Like you had all these different ways that you could tackle like different encounters. Whether it was like, did you just want to go in guns blazing? Like you totally could. Did you want to try and like take out a building and like sneak in? Did you want to do like they had like all these different ways that you could encounter, that you could take on different encounters, and like it varied on the level kind of depending on how it was, and like you could take out like a main enemy for a level without even going in the building if you just brought the whole building down in certain ways, and like different buildings were like reinforced in different ways, so sometimes like you had to like think about it, and the way physics works like actually kind of like probably maybe doesn't actually make sense, but video game wise it made sense, like what beams you had to take out to actually take down a building, and like if you had the tools, and like sometimes maybe you didn't have explosives and you just sit there with the sledgehammer for like 10 years, and so, it was so fun. And then for the second game they're like, what if we just took the whole game and we stuck it in caves? So all the fun open world, super sandbox environment, it's just gone. You just have like some caves, and the caves have destruction, and now you can rebuild things that you break. There you go. And you fight alien things instead of people. Yeah, you fight like alien things instead of people. And that's Armageddon. And it's like, I'm not saying it wasn't like a horrible, like I finished it, I played it, but like compared to Guerrilla, it is such a bad video game, and it frustrated me so much when I played it, because like at the time THQ was so like fucking, I don't know, they just did some such random shit, but Volition or whoever made Red Faction, right, like they clearly had, and they fucked Saints Row 2, so like they're 0 for 2 on their franchises, and now they're dead, so probably deserved it, I guess, but like they had something that was like cool and worked, and instead of iterating on the cool and worked thing, they like tried to rehash it too much, and they just like killed the fun of it, and then they just never brought the franchise back, because the second game, like I think technically if you look it up, I think Armageddon sold fine, but it just like reviewed poorly, and everyone's like, what is this? And then probably didn't bring it back because they knew like it would probably be like a Watch Dogs situation where like Watch Dogs 2 is actually like a pretty good game, but it sold kind of poorly because the first game was like sort of a scam. Although I will say I also liked Watch Dogs, so maybe I'm not the poster child for that one, but
yeah, I mean, like it's a bummer because Red Faction Guerrilla, I didn't even know that there was games previous to that until
they're FPS
years
games
later.
that are yeah.
And like I thought it was interesting, but then the fact that Armageddon was so bad, like seeing how Guerrilla changed a lot of how physics for games were like done, for that at its time, the fact that it was essentially like what Battlefield ended up becoming, where the whole thing you could destroy practically. Yep. That was huge for a fucking like what 15 gig game. That's nuts. Now I will say like the open world aspect for the campaign, like I've been going through it on stream and like actually playing it for the first time, not just like rinsing through and not really giving a shit. It sucks. I'm gonna be really honest. The story, garbage. Yeah, it's the dumbest shit ever.
I mean,
like negative 2 seconds in, and it just makes no sense.
The story is
like I came here.
Yeah, it's
sorry, go ahead.
Stereotypical sci-fi shit.
Remember.
Like you're on Mars, corporation bad. Start the revolution, but then like you like get there and then people instantly like start listening to you, which is kind of odd,
right? It's like it starts out, you're like, I'm Alec Mason, and my brother, I haven't seen him in forever, I'm gonna go like live with him because family sucks or some shit. And then you get there and you're like, yeah man, I'm really excited to like start a good life and do some honest work. And your brother's like, yeah sure, absolutely, follow me. All right, so I'm actually a terrorist. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then not even 2 seconds later, they get like targeted by the EDF and he dies. And then Alec Mason's like, I guess I'm a terrorist now? I don't understand. Like he all he had to do was be like, that was my brother's business. And it would have been the end of it. But he's like, you know what? I have to take up the mantle now. And then everybody, all the Red Faction just instantly knows who you are. And you're like a god. And they're like, we can do it, Mason. It's like, I just started today. That would be like me getting hired at McDonald's and then being like, all right, so you're going to be leading the shareholders meeting. Here's the notes. Bye. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it makes no sense. The mission's ass. The only redeeming factor is that you can go wherever you want to, break a bunch of shit, and that's really it.
Yeah, I think it's
But
just
it's
like a
still
fun
fun.
sandbox to play around in, you know?
Yeah,
the
it's
That's
a
what I
fun screw
remember.
around game.
Yeah,
The multiplayer I think was the highlight, and
the
it's sad that
Oh, I,
multiplayer was
I
really
enjoyed the
fun.
multiplayer too, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the sandbox definitely is the highlight of the game. I think like playing it today, because I played the remastered version whenever that came out a few years ago. I agree. The campaign, the story, the open world, it's all pretty shitty. But at the time, a lot of games were like that. Like a lot of games had shitty
Yeah.
tacked on stories that like were pretty trash. And so it was just kind of like par for the course back in the 360 era. Not that every game had a trash story, because obviously you had like your really good games on the 360, but like your average game that came out on the 360 usually had some middling story that you didn't care about. And it probably had an open world that you also didn't really care about. So it was like it fit in more back in the day, and I feel like that part hasn't aged as well, which is like hard to judge on, because obviously like that shit came out in what, like 08, 09, maybe 2010, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It
Something
might be on
like
the
that.
box. I'm not pulling that out. It's
Yeah,
at the
no,
bottom of my stack
you're fair.
with Black Ops that I've started playing again recently too,
Ooh.
which is really fun. 360 version
The first
still
one?
works. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like I have not had any trouble. I mean, there's like a couple game modes that I can't find matches in, but like
Mm.
it's on the 360. Who the fuck is playing that? So like I'm not upset, but regular just like deathmatch or whatever, haven't had a single issue playing a match. Nothing really like super crazy. I think I had like one lobby where people were like doing weird shit in, but it's great.
Yeah.
And speaking of old COD games, I did play World at War recently through the Plutonium launcher.
Okay.
That game's pretty dead, but I was playing against bots and just a private match, and I was enjoying it. Like I really enjoy that game.
So
You know, I notice that when there's games that I remember like as being like really good games, when I do go back and play them years later, they're just as good as I remember them. Like it is not rose tinted glasses for me at all. Like it is a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
do have to ask with World at War, why is that on the Plutonium launcher? Because you can just play that on Steam. Like that
Can ya?
World at War was still Modern Warfare 2 is
No,
when they
I
switched
know
to
that
minis.
World at War. There was a big issue with that on Steam. I forget what it was, something with Steam keys or something
I
like
thought
that.
World at War was still still server browser, so like I thought you could still just play it today.
It might have. I don't know. There was some type of big issue with World at War on Steam. I remember people talking about it when it finally got resolved. So.
That's
But
fair.
yeah.
All right, yeah, Perry's saying World at War did have issues, so I'll defer to Perry. He seems to know things.
Oh, you know, one thing we did. I thought we were going to come back to this, but we already moved on from the Game Awards. Hideo Kojima's game.
Yeah.
You
Is
know,
it a
the
game?
worst video game trailer I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was gonna like it was nothing.
I've just been
You already
hating
know what I'm
it
gonna say.
based off of all the bullshit memes. They're so unfunny.
Right.
I said
I
it
mean-
during the stream before, and I will say it again. I will die on this fucking hill. He is overrated. He needs to stop making games. Tired of
Well,
seeing
he's not
his
overrated for
fucking mug.
Metal Gear Solid.
I'm
Not for Metal
so
Gear
over
Solid.
seeing his
You want to say
dog
he's
shit
overrated
ass
for Death
face.
Stranding?
I-
Oh my god. No, because
But-
I say that with my whole chest, because how do you walk out of a full career getting nothing but praise, and in the height of your career after being like the guy, the first thing you make sucks ass?
Oh yeah,
How?
I'll agree with you there.
How?
They dropped the ball with Death Stranding. There might be some redeeming qualities there. I don't know. Never played the game,
No,
but I've watched a
don't-
lot of it, and you were just like a delivery man. Like I don't know.
I
what's
don't
going
know
on.
like-
how much of Metal Gear Solid he's responsible for though, because some of
That's what I'm
those
saying.
a lot
think
of
a
those
lot.
games were they were like so amazing, and then you would always get to this one part where it's like you're playing a James Bond movie, and then it just gets fucking super weird out of nowhere, and the game falls off. Like every time you can bank on some weirdness happening, and it just ruins the game.
I think what happened with
I don't
that
know. I
is
think
what
they were
happens
pretty
in
thorough.
normal
They're,
like normal corporate environments where there's like the one guy who's just he gets along with everybody, but he's a little weird, and he just keeps getting promoted, and then he's just responsible for shit, but everybody else is doing the work, so he's just like, yeah, great job. And then he gets heralded as some fucking super genius, and then he comes out, they're like, all right, we're gonna give you the full, it's all you. Go knock him dead. And he knocks himself out and is sprawled out on the floor. Like, I have no faith in Death Stranding 2. I have very little faith in whatever the fucking OD game is, because he has somebody else to actually work on it with.
Well, the last Metal Gear Solid game was Metal Gear Survive without Kojima, and that was fucking hot ass. So I think Kojima was responsible for.
Yeah, but I mean,
a lot of good.
How do we know that like the good gameplay leads didn't just leave with him?
Right. Like I don't.
Maybe it's just
we don't know. I don't know, but
I think he's horrendously overrated.
But I mean, you could say that about a lot of people.
For sure. I mean,
feel
definitely.
I feel like most likely the story and like it'll never come out, but he probably has good ideas. He probably has a good vision, but like being a part of Konami, it was also probably reined in a bit. Whereas when he became the guy and he could make his own game, like nobody was telling him no for Death Stranding, right? It was basically like, you are the dude. You make the game and tell us what to do. Whereas like at Konami, like I bet he probably had a whole fuck ton of wacky ideas that got declined, right? But at the end of the day, like the good ideas make it into the game, and the game is like everyone loves it, right? But then you just give him like, all right, from the ground up, just go ahead and create something. And instead of like making something with like a really cool gameplay loop, he comes up with like, you're gonna carry boxes because it's this like artistic thing, and I don't know. It's like you were going for like a
with your time mending baby that's you but not a beach.
It's like all the movies that people are like, but that movie is fucking amazing because it has all this like epic meaning, and it's like, yeah, but like I just want to like sit there and watch the movie, you know? Like I'm not trying to fucking mindfuck myself to enjoy the movie. Like just, if it was good, it was good. And I feel like that Death Stranding is too much like that. Like there are people that have made arguments of why it was a really good game, and you have to like dive so deep into it and like analyze every like piece about what he like, why this design is like this, and I don't know. It was probably just an average video.
And it was. Yeah, and it is a game, so it's like it's kind of you kind of want it to be fun, and the gameplay didn't look. I mean, all I've really seen of the gameplay is just Norman Reedus carrying boxes.
I mean, that's the gameplay, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
that is the gameplay.
I'm sorry.
No.
I think if I have to have like a degree in quantum mechanics to understand the game, I don't need to be playing the game.
Yeah, to be fair to Death Stranding, that is the opposite of a video game that I would ever like. I just play brainless FPS games every day, so I was not the target audience. If it isn't point and click at a head, I probably won't like it. I looked at my Xbox year in review, which like isn't totally correct because most of the shit I play is on Steam. It's a 95% shooter. 5%
that actually seems pretty accurate.
Where do I find that?
You just go to xbox.com/year-in-review.
Okay.
The only Xbox games I played this year was Infinite, MCC, and Payday 3.
No, because you played it on the store. Payday 3 sucked.
It did.
Yeah.
Guard. There's a guard.
There's like an update coming out for it recently. Or like I think now-ish, right? I saw like a tweet earlier, but I don't know. I think is that game just like they like moved on? Didn't they announce a new game?
Oh shit! Really?
I thought they did. But oh my god, it has 1,500 players. That is rough.
Like I love how that works. I played Payday 1, skipped Payday 2, and then played Payday 3, and it's like Payday 2 is apparently the best one. I feel like that happens with a lot of series.
I guess we just need you to skip some more games that I plan on playing. You know, maybe they'll be good.
Yeah, I think I kill games by trying to play them. I don't know.
Trying to have fun. The game's
it happened with some other game. I can't remember though.
That might actually be like an actual thing, because it might just be like when they're trying to over promote a game because it sucks real bad, and maybe that's when you see it and that's when you try it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be some reason why the
Redfall?
other ones didn't.
I guess that wasn't.
I'm not responsible for that.
I can't believe someone played that for 1,000 hours. I actually want a mental study done on that person. Like I could understand playing the game and like beating it, but it's like maybe like a 20-hour game. How'd you play it for 1,000 hours? Like it has to be idle time, right? Like that's just some fuckery for social media. It's got to be. That's the only way.
Oh
I will
yeah,
accept
the
it.
others. I was thinking of Battlefield. I think I was kind of responsible for that. Like
That one
there
recovered
was like
well though.
there was two I wanted to play at launch. Well, Battlefield 4. I remember I was so excited to play that at launch. It was going to be like
that had a
and
bad
and
launch.
that yeah, it had a horrible launch. And then Battlefield 2042, same thing, also horrible launch. So
Well, I
maybe,
guess you'll
just
skip the
don't
next
touch
one.
games on launch for me, please. Those are both games
Yeah.
I was excited
sorry
for.
about that.
I think you just show up like 8
Well-
months later. Like Remnant was a good game, and you didn't play it at launch, so I think everyone won.
Right. Right.
All right. Anyone have one last game, and then I think we'll wrap it up. Otherwise, we'll just peace out.
No, just been playing Minecraft.
Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Perfect.
Wait, did anyone? I mean, we kind of haven't talked about Infinite. You know, like things happen.
All right,
What's
well
an
that's the end of the
I
podcast.
mean,
What? There's the networking update,
did-
but I haven't played it.
did
so
anyone? No one played that the networking update playlist.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I heard people
Well,
on
I
Twitter
hear
say
it.
it's good.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I hear it's improved. And like I just wanted to say something to like all the people that act like, you know, the desync issues couldn't be improved. Like that's just the way online gaming is, even though those issues were significantly worse in Infinite than like any other game I ever played. Like, yeah, this shit can be improved. It was the same thing with like MCC Halo 3 Shot Reg when people were saying, "Oh, that's just like the original. That's just how games are." Like, and then they updated it and they improved it later on. Like no, this shit can be improved, and it was really bad. So, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know what? Fuck Halo.
I
That's what I
never
say.
I
Yeah.
never thought that like decent couldn't be fixed. I just thought them specifically couldn't fix it. I just had no faith that they would fix it. So
I mean, but to be fair, 343, like, you know, Shot Reg in their games was actually kind of better than Bungie, you know?
it was. Halo 4 has some
Like
of
4 and
the
5?
the greatest shot reg ever. Like you felt like a god playing
Yeah.
Halo 4.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like, so, yeah.
H4 SWAT kind of was peak. I won't lie.
all right, we got a SWAT kit on the podcast. On that note, I think that's it for the podcast. Chipmunk, what are you up to these days?
Mostly, I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Jesus
Partially
Christ.
for video, partially not.
Okay.
But I'm actually going to be going through and not reviewing, but comparing the OG Modern Warfare 2 to this one and see how different it is.
Chipmunk, you were like a year late, brother.
Listen, I got it for free
That
because
shit,
I've been at this
came
company
out
for
last
5
year.
years, and they were like, "Hey,
Well,
here's
you
this
reviewed Saint
stupid-
Rose too late. What?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Chipmunk,
What the fuck?
Chipmunk
Yeah.
sends me a message the other day that his COD his work is giving him Modern Warfare 2. And I'm just like, bro, what do you mean
Okay.
your work is giving you MW2? It came out a year ago.
Oh, and they gave you that Modern Warfare too, man.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
not
so I
like
got to
it.
pick. I got to
Oh,
pick.
no.
It was this website. They gave me this plaque, and they're like, "You've been here 5 years. Here's 6,000 whatever the fuck points to this random website to get a gift." And I'm like, okay. So I'm just browsing through it, and I was like, "Oh, there's video games on here. I wonder what I can get with that." And this was one of the options. And I was like, "Fuck it, why not?" Gears 5 was an option, and I no, not
Bro,
even
if
free.
you would have messaged me that your work gave you Gears 5 for free, I don't think I would have ever gotten past it.
It's like of all the shit that was on there was like a bunch of like sports games and shit that was on there. But I was like, you know what? I was gonna buy this at some point and like do this comparison. Fuck it, I might as well get it for free. Because there was like other shit that I could have gotten, but I just didn't care enough. Like a 4-slotted toaster or a Yeti cup or some like random pen or some shit. But like shit, hell yeah, if they're gonna give me a game for free that I don't have to spend $50 on. Absolutely,
I know
don't
what you're
care.
talking about because my work has like one of those programs, and it is full of the most random shit. Like you go to the electronics section, and it's just full of outdated shit because whoever made it hasn't
Really weird.
updated it in like 2 years. And you're like, I mean, I guess I could get a TV that came out like 2 years ago or whatever.
It's like a little like desk TV that you crank.
Yeah, you're like, that's sick. Or like
Little
there'll be
arcade TV.
video games on there. You'll like roll up and it'll be like, do you want like Overwatch? You're like, bro, that's free now. I don't
can't play
I don't
that
need
anymore.
Overwatch from 2016, but it's still on the fucking page for some reason as an option, and it's like, I don't even play that for free. I don't want you to give it to me. I will not take this as a reward for my service.
what's kind of funny about that too is when I had to go to that work thing, I stopped at a GameStop and I bought because it was 99 cents the first Battlefront for like Xbox One.
Yeah.
And it was I appreciated this guy, but he was like a very stereotypical like I'm a GameStop employee and this is all I will ever be. And I felt really bad for the guy, but he was very nice. And he was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, do you intend to play this?" And I'm like, "Well, not really. It's 99 cents and I just want it for my collection." He's like, "Okay, good, because you're probably not gonna find a game. It's online only. There's no co-op or there's no campaign or anything like that." And
What
I'm
a
like,
nice guy.
"Well, I appreciate you telling me, but it's also 99 cents. So even if I didn't know that, am I really gonna get pressed about $1? Like, come on."
Someone probably has, and that's why he's saying it. Some grandma
guess.
probably walked in and bought some game from the 99-cent bin, and then her grandchild couldn't play it, and they came back in like, "Why would you sell me this video game
You
that does not
scammed
work?
me."
I tried to buy my kid Battlefront 1 from 2014, and it was unable to be played." So I actually played that. I played that semi recently on PC, and there would only be one lobby you could get into, and half the time it just had a hacker. So it was a sick
Battlefront 2
experience.
though, fucking banging, dude. There's a really solid player base for that one.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
only
I'm
Dice
glad
didn't
they
move off
killed it
that.
as soon as it picked up.
Yeah.
They had better things to do, like Battlefield. So. Which also picked up as they probably stopped working on it. So we're ready for round 2, dude. Let's get a new piece of shit from Dice, and then they can move off that once it's finally recovered.
Yeah.
All right, Pop Q, what are you up to these days?
Pretty much nothing like usual.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I got some videos in the works, but you know, I wasn't uploading before, and now that I'm actually playing games, I don't know when I'm going to get around to finishing those videos, but they'll come out eventually. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it.
BK, what are you doing these days?
Making thumbnails for videos that flop, sadly.
Yeah, yeah, it's all right. I'll pick up someday.
What
Just give it
what
time.
pathetic YouTuber is that?
Yeah,
Oh,
just come
you
up.
know, you wouldn't want to know.
Yeah. The two people watching, just make sure you go
Sounds like a real loser.
go check out the video on the history of Halo PC, but make sure you like loop
It
it
was actually good.
50 times.
It was good.
If you don't watch it
The
50
sad thing
times,
was, that is a good video.
yeah, I thought it was pretty good. All the comments are like, "Oh, this is a really good video," like, and then it has 800 views. So that's the story of my life. So
Wait, 800? What?
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah,
It's a slow burn, unfortunately.
it's doing pretty
Yeah.
good. I might actually switch the thumbnail back to the original one, I think, and then
I think you do.
I'll just leave it there, and then we'll
looks
check back in a year. And if it's still under like 5K, I'll just cry.
I'll cry with you. I'll cry in
The original
solidarity.
thumbnail looks like a respectable thumbnail to be proud of. So maybe
Yeah,
let's
that's what
do
I'm
that.
thinking. Even if at this point it's not getting clicks anyways, I might as well use the thumbnail. I'd rather be there on the page instead of the fucking. I mean, it's a good thumbnail. But it's just like the other one's cooler looking. But all right, that's
Yeah.
that. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll be back in a couple weeks. I'm probably gonna make a video about United 1944. So if you want to hear more about that amazing FPS game, check it out. Might stream Ready or Not tomorrow. Maybe, probably. I don't know.
Oh,
But,
you should. You should.
well, it'll just depend on if I get my shit done. So,
Um,
all right. Appreciate everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.